This is your AESH Logistics News Minute for Tuesday, August 16, 2022. In mainstream news, CNBC reports shipping container fees are falling around the world, but not in the US. Late container charges known as detention and demurrage, DAND, in the United States are the highest in the world, according to a recent report by Containers Change, and are out of sync with DAND charges that have been falling around the globe. Detention is the charge the merchant pays for holding an ocean carrier's container outside the port, terminal, or depot beyond the contracted free time. In this portion of the contract, an ocean carrier stipulates how long a merchant can have the container before charges are imposed. Wall Street Journal reports Alexei Miller, Putin loyalist and Gazprom CEO, fights energy war with Europe. Vladimir Putin has waged an energy war on Europe. The general running his campaign is ultra-loyalist and Gazprom PJSC boss Alexei Miller. By starving Europe of gas in retaliation for its support for Ukraine in the war, Mr. Miller is firing an economic weapon that Russia loaded over half a century, during which Europe became hooked on prolific wells in western Siberia. He is threatening to pitch Europe into darkness this winter, close down factories and test the resolve of governments to funnel funding and arms to Ukraine for its war with Russia. SupplyChainDigital.com headline, Logistics turning to rail freight in race to net zero. When it comes to freight, rail is far greener than road, yet it's far more complex, and a change in mindset is needed if it's to make a difference. European Union (EU) sustainability proposals include a plan to double rail freight across the territory by 2030, with the US also committed to increasing the role of rail as part of its transport infrastructure. On a per-ton delivered basis, it's estimated rail freight produces 75% less greenhouse gas emissions (GHG) than shipping by truck. In Logistics and Transportation Publications headlines, Transinfo reports on its front page, PostNord points to subcontractor as HGV drivers are fired for tachograph violations. Scandinavian logistics company PostNord has once again pointed towards its subcontractors after police found a lorry hauling one of its trailers had driver, tachograph and tax violations. 2 drivers have had their contracts terminated following the results of the police HGV inspection, which took place at the Annisted control station in Loughton at the end of July. In another headlines of Transinfo, Trucksters hires driver experience manager dedicated to lorry driver welfare. Alberto Agullo, who has been selected for the role, will oversee a team of 6 people. His job will be to lead a strategic plan which will help truck drivers to sleep more at home and spend more quality time with their families. According to Trucksters, another key objective for the team is to provide cleaner, safer and better serviced rest areas for the drivers. Mr. Agullo is a civil engineer with more than 5 years of international experience in supply chain operations. TTNews.com headline, Tesla, Nikola race for up to $40,000 incentives. It was a budding rivalry that didn't last long before scandal brought one of them down. 2 years ago, Nikola founder Trevor Milton was very clearly on Tesla CEO Elon Musk's radar. The week after Nikola completed its merger with a special purpose acquisition company and immediately shot up in value on the Nasdaq, Musk fired off an email to employees declaring it was time to go all out getting Tesla's Semi into production. But instead of fuel cells and follow-through, there were fraud charges and deferments. Milton is a month away from going to trial, having been accused of lying to investors. Nikola has only delivered a few dozen battery electric trucks, and the Tesla Semi is still missing. Logistics Manager headline, BMW backs sustainable packaging within its logistics division. The BMW Group has implemented several projects in its packaging logistics to further save resources. The company is planning on working closely with its suppliers to reduce carbon emissions and to realize the principles of the circular economy as best it can. As part of its initiative, the European plants will use more recycled material in their packaging, meaning that for newly awarded contracts, the proportion of recycled material in reusable packaging for logistics purposes will almost double this year from around 20% to more than 35%. This has been your AESH Logistics News Minute for Tuesday, August 16, 2022. If you want more global logistics news and real-time alerts, hit the subscribe button now and follow us on social media.